Hello everyone, welcome to yet another Fantasy Haven live stream. It's been a while, it's been a month or so. May was going to be the month of non-stop live streams while I work on 7 animated videos in the background to be released during Hot D, but I am in fact a liar. And I do in fact spread misinformation, so no. There have been no live streams. I've just been busy working and also not working. More of the latter than the former, no. Anyway, live stream, yay. What's the plan? What's going on? So, long story short, it's a fun, quick little solo stream, 1 to 2 hours. Just wanted to have some fun. It'll be a random theory tier list. I'm completely ripping this off of Quinn, of course. Quinn GM had a 100k live stream, and essentially, this is how it's going to go down. Send in a theory in the chat, and I'm going to rank it. It can be in as serious or non-serious as you want. If you super chat a live stream, those will take priority and they get to be golden. Ah. And that just, all the super chats just help me run the channel and allow this to be my job. So that's awesome. But it's up to you. You can just post it in the chat if you want. I won't answer all the ones in the chat, just the ones that stick out to me. But obviously I'll answer every single super chat. Right. Anything else to add? I guess another thing I'll say is released a couple of videos in the last 2 days. Yesterday I released an accent video breaking down all of the accents of in the first season of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, because everyone loves Accent Corner, right? I'll do a Hot D one at some point in the future. And of course I also did a... Oh yes, today I released an edited down live stream of one of my casting live streams, right? Do you remember I did 2 casting live streams, like 3 hours each, where I go through all of the cast of Game of Thrones and I rank them. In the first live stream, the tier list was about their physical similarity to their book counterparts, and then the second live stream I did was just ranking them based on acting ability and my subjective opinion. And I'd edited down the first live stream into a VOD, and I thought, how about I edit down the second? And I posted that. It's just a quick thing that only took a couple of days of editing to do. To tide you beautiful people over while I work super hard in the background on not 1, not 2, not 3, but 7 animated videos that will drop throughout Hot D. On top of reviews, by the way, so if you add that together, that's 15 videos dropping over the course of Hot D Season 3. That's pretty exciting. And we already have a super chat. Thank you for the super chat from Kick Him 560, who says, tax for the Lord. Thank you, my vassal, for giving me the monthly tax of $9.99. Thank you very much. If you would like to throw in a theory, Kick Him, to go with your super chat, feel free and I'll rank it. You can just post that in the chat. But for now, let me just double check. Is everything going okay with the actual live stream? Everything looks fine. Oh, another super chat from Gunji Guna, the one and only. Thanks so much. Lord Haven always arrives late. Lord Guna always comes early. Boy, did I miss live streams. Right. Let's choose some random things. Oh, another one from Gunji. Thank you so much. Theory. Everyone is Azor Ahai. Oh, you're going to have to narrow that down. God damn it. Okay. How can I make everyone... Everyone... Oh, wait, no. My bad. It's a super chat theory. Gets gold. Everyone is Azor Ahai. So is this like a kind of... Is this a roundabout way of saying there is no Azor Ahai? There is no prophesized hero who's going to sacrifice his wife to save the world? That, you know, the bloodlines are relevant to being a hero, that, you know, Jon Snow is the prophesized one and all that. So are you saying, no, it's none of that traditional fantasy bullshit? The trope that will be subverted by Germ will be that everyone is the chosen one. Everyone is Azor Ahai. Everyone will stop the long night by working together as a team, putting aside petty politics and teaming up. Everyone is the chosen one. Everyone's Azor Ahai. I'm not sure about that one, Chief. That's a bit too kumbaya for me. I'm gonna. The little Homelander tier is just the kind of when I get shit posts. Even though this one is a shit post, I'm actually gonna put it above Homelander because I do know how you could interpret that potentially as everyone is the chosen one. There's no one special person. Like, I'll put it in E tier. You know what? I'll be generous. Put it in E. Oh, Quinn's in the chat. What did he say? Where's he gone? I didn't know Haven did theories. I do theories when I'm ripping you off and ripping your live streams off. Yeah, I love theories. I did Winds of Winter animated theories. I should probably do more of those before they become obsolete one way or another. Okay, the theories are streaming in. Oh, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. What have we got? Thank you so much for the super chat from Samantha Boo. Wait, no, I've got a. There's a lot of O's in that. Samantha Boo. Is that what we're going for? Varys has balls theory. God damn it. Varys isn't actually a eunuch, just a mama's ruse. Has anyone checked who hired him? All right. Varys has balls. Okay. So this is definitely not true in the show, because in the show there's a scene where Roz explicitly like gropes him and is like, "Huh, there's nothing there," and Varys is like, "That's right." But in the books, there's no confirmation. All we know is that Varys tells people he's a eunuch. He, in private, tells Tyrion the tragic, horrific backstory of being castrated by the wizard who threw it in as some sort of weird blood fire sacrifice. But even that could have been a lie. Even that could have been Varys playing Tyrion. In my opinion, it's a rare moment of Varys being truthful. I think it sort of takes away from that scene if that's just yet another lie. I think that scene was Varys kind of letting his guard down a bit, even though he's still manipulating Tyrion. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's a lie. Maybe even in private, he's like everyone just knows him as the eunuch because that allows him to play a specific role. Because Varys is clearly inspired by sort of like eunuch courtiers, bureaucrats, schemers, advisors in ancient China, right? In old China. And I think George basically took that concept and went, instead of there being almost like a eunuch class, what if it was one person? And he sort of plays up to that role. He's like, "Oh, I'm an effeminate eunuch. I'm sly and slimy and powdered up, and I reek of perfume, and I'm very sort of obsequious and fawning, and everyone knows who he is. He plays this role and everyone knows who he is, and why they don't trust him necessarily. They trust that they can't trust him, right? They think, oh, he's just someone who is purely interested in power in the moment, so they don't suspect he has deeper ambitions. So in terms of the fact that, yes, he is an actor, right? He grew up in a troupe of mummers. He is an actor. He's a performer, fundamentally. Where he disguises himself as a woman. One of his disguises is Rugen the J-Lo's a gruff guy with stubble. He can do accents, he can do voices, he can dress up, and the Varys, the Master of Whisperers, is one such disguise, essentially. And is part of the backstory of the Varys character, behind the character, the fact that he's a eunuch. Like, is it that genuinely he isn't a eunuch? Potentially, because no one knows. He could just, gives himself a high-pitched voice, shaves his head and beard. That being said, I think it's more interesting. So I think it's possible, and it's interesting that, even that he lies about. But personally, I'd prefer if he didn't have balls. That's a crazy statement, but I think he's more interesting if he's a eunuch, because I think that the backstory that he gives Tyrion is like, I'd quite like that to be true. I'd quite like that to be a real moment from him. Him being a eunuch could feed into all kind of theories, like why were his genitals burnt as a sacrifice? Is he a bright flame? Is he a black fire? Right? There are some things you can do with that. And there's also an argument to be made that, he, unlike so many men in the series, he is not dictated by lust. He's not controlled by his own lust because the balls are gone. He doesn't have a sex drive anymore, and so that's almost the advantage he has over his adversaries. I think it's more interesting if he is a eunuch than if he's pretending to be a eunuch. He can be a eunuch while still pretending to be the stereotypical slimy, obsequious courtier. So I'm going to put this on... I'm going to put it on C because it's like, I could see it being true. I wouldn't be mad if it were true. I just think it makes him a bit less interesting. I didn't mean to talk about Varys's balls for that long. That's ridiculous from me. Me thinking this is going to be like a hour-long stream. It's not starting off well. Okay, we have a few more super chats that have come in. So reminder to new people, if you want me to rank a theory, send in a super chat. I'll prioritize those, but I will also pick out interesting theories I see in the chat if there aren't any current live super chats to look at. But seeing as we're prioritizing my financiers, Janverb, thank you for the super chat from Janverb, who says Qyburn and BM work for Euron. BM? Sorry, if we're doing a Song of Ice and Fire, you can't hit me with initials. There are so many characters. Don't hit me with initials. Qyburn and BM. Oh, the Bloody Mummers, I guess, of course. Qyburn and the Bloody Mummers work for Euron. They are all freaks like Euron. That's true, yes. Bloody Mummers are an eclectic group of weirdos, right? You got a fat Dothraki sellsword. You've got like a Qyburn, a disgraced necromantic maester, an ex-maester, failed maester. I was actually going to say, I nearly said necrophilic. No, necromantic. What else? Oh yeah, you've got Vargo Hoat, the slobbering, lisping nutcase who cuts off people's limbs. Yeah, it's just a weird group of misfits. So would they fit with Euron? Yeah, if they're under Euron's command, they're just as insane and sadistic and evil. Qyburn very weirdly lies to Cersei about Theon. Yeah, has that ever been explained necessarily? Does he? Wait, remind me in the chat, when does Qyburn lie to Cersei about Theon? I think I know what you're talking about, but remind me. And he's very dismissive of Euron's threat. He's doing black magic and late seasons of Game of Thrones. Okay, let's work this out. Let's put this together. So I'd like to see you expand that, like to what end? What are they doing for Euron? But Qyburn and Bloody Mummers. So first and foremost, could they be working for him in terms of, yes, it's feasible. In terms of, their morality, yeah, I could see them being on Team Euron. Dismissive of the Euron threat does make you think slightly of Randall Tarley, doesn't it? In the epilogue of A Dance with Dragons, where everyone's talking about the Golden Company. He's like, oh, they're just a few sellswords hired by Stannis, and who cares? Don't focus on them. And some people have theorized, is Randall Tarley on Team Young Griff, on Team Aegon, on Team Golden Company? Being he's one of the friends in the Reach, and on the Small Council, he's trying to divert everyone's attention and lull everyone into a false sense of security. Maybe there's a similar thing here, where Qyburn is secretly working for Euron. He's like, don't worry about Euron. We don't need to deal with them. Red Wine Fleet, yeah, whatever. He's doing black magic, yes. I mean, Euron seems to be in tune with sorcery and eldritch weird stuff. And Qyburn is experimenting on humans and, resurrected the mountain into a sort of flesh golem. There's a link there. And the late seasons of Game of Thrones, of course. It's interesting you say late Game of Thrones, because most people look at late Game of Thrones and their conclusion is, maybe Cersei and Euron are going to get married in the books, because we know that Euron wants to marry Daenerys, and we know that that's a very strange pairing, and maybe Euron and Cersei will team up, and Euron has that vision in the admittedly non-canon, but the sample chapter, the Forsaken. I nearly said the Unforgiven. The Forsaken. There's like a shadowy, pale woman with fire in her hands. Everyone's like, is that Cersei with wildfire? And the show could confirm that, where, hey, they had Cersei marry Euron in the show. That was kind of random. maybe that's what's going to go down, right? Maybe Euron, Cersei, boom. But I never really thought about the link between Euron and Qyburn, that maybe there's some sort of something that Benioff and Weiss ditched while they were, well, one of the many things they ditched when they were doing the later seasons of Game of Thrones, but it may have still been in the notes somewhere. Okay, I'm trying to make this work. I don't understand. I don't know. I need to know to what end. I'm putting the pieces together. Yes, in theory, Qyburn and the Bloody Mummers could work for Euron. Why? What are they doing? Like the Bloody Mummers in particular, they fight for Tywin, then they swap over to Roose Bolton, then they get disbanded, and then they become a bunch of outlaws and rapists and raiders. What is What is their purpose? What was Euron trying to do with them? And if we solely say Qyburn, then okay, what? I need more. I need more. What is Euron, as in like he's just a spy within the Red Keep. He's a spy. He's manipulated Cersei to get close to her, sort of be her advisor, and he's there to destabilize things behind the scenes for Euron. I don't know. It's. I'm gonna put it in. It feels a bit mean putting it in E, but I'm not sure where else I would put it. It's just a bit. It's just one of those maybe. As I'll put it in D just because it is feasible. It's like, yeah, I guess it could be true. Just I need to know why, because you could just say anyone could potentially work for someone else. But I like that Yan verb. I'm rambling a bit. God, it's been a while since I've done live streams. I need to remember to stay focused with what I'm saying and not go in various different directions. It's called The Weave, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let me just check the chat for a sec. What did I miss? Stay hydrated, everyone. Someone called Felix wants me to have their babies. Great. God, I've missed streaming. Right. Ugh. Where do we get to? Pioneer, hey, Pioneer. Thank you for the super chat from Pioneer. One of the goats. Sir Theoden the True is secretly Aaron Santagar. Also, hey man, how's it hanging? I'm good. Going kayaking now. I'll try not to drop my phone in the lake during the stream. You're bringing your phone? Are you like listening to the stream while you're kayaking? That feels kind of. That's. I can't think of a worse way to like ruin the atmosphere. Just me yapping in your ear. Like, enjoy nature. God damn, enjoy. Look at the bright blue sky. Feel the water on your fingertips. Don't listen to me rambling about fucking whether Varys has balls or not. Come on, man. Anyway, so Theoden the True is secretly Aaron Santagar. I've heard about this. How have I heard about this one? I think Theoden the True is Aaron Santagar. Okay, so for those who are wondering, Theoden the True is Sir Theoden Wells. He's one of the Warriors' Sons. Is he the captain of the Warriors' Sons? And he could be from the north or from Dorne, because there's a House Wells in the north and Dorne, which is quite funny. Secretly, Aaron Santagar. So Aaron Santagar is the Master at Arms of the Red Keep, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he's one of the victims of the riot at King's Landing. He gets beaten to death. So I guess the idea is that he actually survived that and faked his death and came back as a member of the Warriors' Sons. To what end? I don't know. Fuck you. You know what? I'm putting that in E. What even is that? What even is that? Why would... I need an explanation for some of these. Like, don't just hit me with X character is Y character. Goddamn. Right. Thank you, Pioneer. All right, what have I missed? Hold on. It's very annoying reading the chat, but also needing to fill dead air. I just want to see what people are saying. Thank you, Mall of America. Thank you so much for super chat. Anyone else seeing Mad King play this summer? Any theories? I am seeing the Mad King play with some friends. I'm super excited. Any theories for it? I theorize that we won't see John Con. That's not a theory. That's more of a hope because I just want to spite Quinn. Yeah, theories. I don't. Well, I think it will reveal stuff that we don't already know, which sounds obvious, but I mean, it's probably going to act as a sort of George R. R. Martin saying, "Ah, fuck it, Wind isn't coming out. You'll learn some secrets about Rhaegar and Lyanna Stark in the play. There you go." Bum bum. I'm recognizing some commenters as being people I know in real life, which is very strange. Hey, thank you for the super chat from Kick Him once again. Quaithe is Shiera Seastar, blood magic to keep her youth and vision with her Mask of Starlight. Okay, Quaithe Shiera, that's a classic. Okay, we've moved on from Varys has balls, Qyburn is in Euron's pay, and Aaron Santagar faked his death to become a random extra. No, this is proper. Quaithe is Shiera Seastar. This is one of those classics, like Melisandre is Shiera Seastar and Shiera Seastar is Quaithe, or Quaithe is Shiera and Melisandre is Shiera's daughter, etc. It's all kind of everyone is secretly someone else. So Quaithe is the woman that Daenerys meets in Karth, with the lacquered mask. And in Dance, she's like sending her visions, and it's all kind of she just says a bunch of riddle shit. She's kind of annoying, if I'm being honest. But yeah, there's a theory that she's Shiera Seastar, that being the daughter of Aegon the Unworthy and his ninth mistress, Serenai of Lys, or Lys. And then, Shiera was a sorceress. We're probably going to see her in maybe some future Duncan Egg seasons, if not future Duncan Egg novellas. And there are theories that she could be like Melisandre's mum and all this stuff, but Quaithe being Shiera, so Shiera's lived for a long time, probably using magic to maintain her youth, moved to Essos, is trying to help Daenerys in a kind of cryptic way. Yeah, maybe it's we need to learn more about Quaithe. Yeah, is there anything else any other bits of evidence that ties Quaithe to Shiera beyond just mysterious sorceress women, and in the past there was a Targaryen bastard who's a mysterious sorceress? I guess, yeah, someone replied to you saying, I like this one because it further emphasizes the four bastards of Aegon IV's impact. Yeah, in the sense that Bittersteel plays such a big role with the Golden Company and the Blackfire Rebellions, and then Blood Ravens play such a big role beyond the Wall. It would be weird if Shiera just kind of vanishes and isn't also a big player. No, 100%. Okay, I'm going to put this in B because I'm like, it would be intriguing. Quaithe is just one of those annoying cryptic characters who I need her to actually do something and to be useful in some capacity. I also don't remember much about her, so maybe I'm chatting shit. Does she say anything useful? I can't remember. Thanks for all the theories people are throwing in, by the way. I do appreciate it. Once I've gone through Super Chats, I will go back and pick the best non-Super Chat ones. But for now, Soldier John Boy. Hey, it's Soldier Boy. How you doing? You defrosted yourself. Thank you. Knight of the Laughing Tree is Sandok the Shadow. Ooh, okay. Knight of the Laughing Tree is Sandok the Shadow. You can go fuck yourself for one. That's going straight into the Homelander bruh tier at the bottom. I don't think that is true. Can I try and argue that unironically? No, I can't. Sandok the Shadow existed during the regency of Aegon III, and the Knight of the Laughing Tree is and was also like a giant 7-foot buff black guy. and Knight of Laughing Tree is a small, skinny knight during a tournament. I'm just gonna go fuck yourself. Right. Hold on, who's next? Who's next? Bum, 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 bum. We have a super chat from... Oh my god, it's the one and only Lord Peasbury. Hold on, I also have some Streamlab donations. I'll get to those in a sec. Thank you. Oh yes, I forgot to mention. You can either send in theories via super chats, or if you click on the Streamlabs donation link in the description, you can send in a donation. It will pop up. I'll read it out as well. If you do it that way, 100% of what you send goes to me. YouTube doesn't take a cut, so it's very helpful. Lord Peasbury said, theory, wet what is a secret Peasbury S tier. I'm gonna... God damn it. Who the fuck is wet what? Am I supposed to know that person? Is a secret Peasbury. Well, right. This guy is in is in the comment section of all my videos begging for the animated history of House Peasbury. Well, what would I say about House Peasbury? All I remember about House Peasbury is that there are some Peasburys marching with Stannis to Winterfell, and a couple of them engage in cannibalism and get fucking burnt at the stake, right? Am I misremembering? That's the house you stand? Okay. Wet what? I'm gonna look this up. Who is wet what? Wet what? But peasant in service to House Osgrey. He's from the Sworn Sword. I was like, well, there were like a bunch of Watts and Pates in the Sworn Sword. Okay, what barleycorn? Nice. Why am I taking this seriously? Okay, let's see what the link is. His surname's Barleycorn. Okay, barley, crop. You know, peas, vegetables. There's a little link there. Maybe he went on. Maybe he was a Peasbury. He fled his house. Took the life of a peasant. In Cold Moat, outside Cold Moat, or whatever that area is. Yeah, why am I indulging this? This is going down here. Why are you playing me? It's slightly more plausible than a Knight of the Laughing Tree being Sandok the Shadow, I won't lie, but let me just I'm gonna double check the Peasburys if you don't mind. Where are they from? I'm thinking Stormlands. Yes, they're from Poddingfield in the Stormlands, yeah. Yes, a Stormland noble. I'm not even going to indulge anymore. Go away. Don't go away. Please stay. You're amazing, Lord Peasbury. Okay, who's next? Okay, we have a couple of super chats, but I'm going to do some Streamlabs donations. I don't want to leave my Streamlabbers hanging. Oh, I also want to shout out someone who sent me $6 11 days ago. I wasn't even streaming. They just tipped me $6. Panolian, if you're listening to this. Thanks, man. Okay. There we go. We have a tip from... I don't know who this is, because their name hasn't showed up. It's just an ID. So if you were the Streamlab donator, please let me know in the chat. This person said, Mokoro is the one who cut Varys. Ages were... Okay. It looks like I've actually got a serious theory. I gotta lock in. Mokoro cut Varys. Okay, let's see the justification for this. Also, thank you for sending in $27.01 specifically. That's such a specific amount to donate. So, the ages work. Well, yeah, Mokoro's an older man, isn't he? Varys is probably like, what, in his 40s? And this was when he was a kid, prepubescent. Mokoro is like, he's got a grey or white hair, so he's an older man. Age-wise, it could work out, sure. Blood sacrifice in a fire, yes. Varys's balls were thrown into a fire that could point towards the warlock in question, being a fire-worshipping R'hllorist, being a red priest like Mokoro. Varys could have king's blood, yes. Again, we know that Melisandre sacrifices people with king's blood as a to earn favor from the Lord of Light. So he wants to burn Edric Storm because he's a Baratheon bastard, got that Baratheon king's blood. In the show, leeches on Gendry because Gendry's got the king's blood too, Robert's bastard. Even when she burns a Florent, Lord Florent, you know, he's got old Florent blood because the Florents used to be kings, question mark, or at least descended from Garth Greenhand, who you could argue was a king. Anyway, okay, not to ramble. Yes, blood sacrifice. Melisandre engages in that. If Varys, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, has some Blackfire blood or some Targaryen, you know, bright flame blood, all kind of theories about that. Maybe it's king's blood. Moqorro is shown to have more understanding and power about R'hlloric magic than other Red Priests. Yes, I mean, Melisandre just kind of winging it, to be honest. Moqorro is like a proper expert priest. Could add a fun element to Dany's court. Yes, because if he is joining Daenerys' court, if he is one of the retinue, the eclectic retinue soon to surround Daenerys, a bunch of nutcases and villains as she goes through what could be a villain origin story where you have Tyrion as the evil dwarf dripping poison into her ear from her shoulder. You have Victarion, the volcano-handed ironborn admiral, worshipping this syncretic R'hllorist drowned god cult that he himself has created. And you've got, you know, the likes of Dario Naharis and Ben Plum and the Tattered Prince of these sociopathic sellswords. You've got, you know, her eunuch slave army. You've got her brutal Dothraki blood riders. You've got Marwyn the Mad Mage, a crazy maester, going on about prophecy. And who else to add to that? Moqorro the Red Priest treating Daenerys as Azor Ahai, the one and only. Part of the crazy retinue, right? And if he is the man who did that to Varys, and Varys is on Team Blackfire, that adds even more tension. If you've got young Griff versus Daenerys, Dance of the Dragons Mark II, and you've got Varys on Aegon's shoulder, but then Moqorro on Daenerys' shoulder, maybe there's like maybe the Dany versus young Griff is going to be a bit more of an obvious like magic side versus non-magical side, right? Maybe the second dance in the books will be sort of similar to the direction they're going in with the show, where you have Rhaenyra going down the arc of being the Messiah, the chosen one, right? It's her destiny to save Westeros against the Long Night because her father Viserys told her about that, and then Aegon and the Greens are just purely interested in power. They're less into the prophecy, magical stuff. Maybe Ryan Condor was just copying what George told him about the ending of A Song of Ice and Fire. Okay, I'm going off the deep end here a bit, but yeah, that's an interesting thought, right? I like that idea quite a bit, actually, because there's a lot of, oh, this person is secretly this character, but you need a why, and you've given me a brilliant why, which is, it's not just about whether it makes sense, is it satisfying narratively, and having that boom, Daenerys versus young Griff, Moqorro versus Varys, I kind of like that vibe. I'm putting this in A. I kind of talked myself into that. I'm putting that in A. I'm having fun with this. Okay, let me just check the chat for a sec. Someone just said Aegon is gay. Is that a theory? You know, that could be a good theory. The big theory is that he's shooting blanks, but maybe he's just gay. Gaygon. Let's go. Oh, Gaygon. I'll have to have that as a little theory. Just Samantha, I can't chat. I'm making a salad for a barbecue, but I appreciate the acknowledgement of my balls theory. You're very much welcome. You're very much welcome. Right. Okay. Right, let's keep going. So, what did I get up to? Thank you for the super chat from Drog, the one and only, the current president of Lithuania, Drog, who says Aegon Bloodborne is secretly a Targ. Interesting. Okay. So for those wondering, No, Aegon Bloodborne is not a obscure Targaryen prince. Down the line, no. Aegon Bloodborne is a Frey, the one and only. He is the eldest son of Sir Aenys Frey, who's the third-born son of the late Lord Walder Frey. Aegon, so his father's Aenys, and he's the older brother of Rhaegar. There's a bit of Targ Simpry going on. It's quite funny. And Aegon Bloodborne does not appear once in the books. He's not in any of the books. He only appears in the appendix. And in the appendix, it just says, A, his name is Aegon Bloodborne, and B, he is an outlaw. Now, the Riverland storyline is all about outlaws. You have the Brotherhood Without Banners. You have the, Ned Dane's faction splitting away from Lady Stoneheart's faction. You have all the hangings and all that stuff. There's literally a Frey outlaw. Why hasn't he appeared in the story yet? I don't know. It's crazy. And why is his name Bloodborne? That almost implies that, like, his mother died in childbirth, birthing him, but he's the older brother. Rhaegar's younger, so why is he Aegon Bloodborne? Anyway, he's a Targ, right. When I get theories with no explanation, you're really making me think. I assume it's just his name is Aegon, therefore he's a Targ, right? Who could feasibly, so how old is... So Aenys Frey is basically like 60s or 70s, right? And Aegon Bloodborne could be like in his 40s, 50s. So 40, 50 odd years ago, could he have a Targ father? I guess he could. An interesting theory would be, who's the father? And because he's clearly a bastard. He's a Targaryen bastard. But who would the father be? I'm not good enough with dates to work out who his father could be. Someone come up with something funny. Is he a Targ? No, that's fucking bullshit. No, his name's Aegon because of Simpry. He's not a secret Targ. It would be funny if he was. If some Targaryen prince just, like, cucked Aenys Frey and then Aenys never loved him, and then Aegon's like, screw this. Or maybe Aenys disinherited him, and he's like, screw this. I'm going to become an outlaw out of spite. I know, we have enough secret Targaryens. We have too many. But thank you, Droggy Drog. Thank you for the super chat from Lightning. Hey, like Lord Haven. Matthias. Big fan from Denmark. Hey, thanks for the super chat, man. Thank you very much. Soldier John Boy returns. Sandok will return in Winds of Winter as Cold Hands. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Oh boy. Not the Sandok theories. Sandok will return in Winds. Okay. What is the obsession with Sandok? Well, I mean, he's a cool character, don't get me wrong. Have I drawn him? Yes, I did draw him because he has a Valyrian steel Arak. Does it? Right? My God. No. No, he doesn't. That's Krago Corpse Killer. He has like a Valyrian steel scimitar or something. Am I going crazy? But I did my every Valyrian steel weapon explained video a couple years ago or whenever, and I did have to draw Sandok. Let me post him. Hey, there he is. There's Sandok the Shadow. What a cool guy. Sandok will return in Winds. No, he's fucking dead. He's dead. He is just objectively dead. It's like, oh, but we don't know what his death is. It's like, he would have died of old age by this point. He was a big, buff, burly man when Aegon III was a child. Come on. Sandok will not return in Winds. I guess he could be resurrected. Qyburn gets his hands on him. Or maybe Bran has a flashback and it's Sandok for no reason. Okay, Sandok, that is, he is not returning. I apologize to all the shadow stands out there. Sandok is not returning. Thank you for the super chat from ZamQ2C, who says, Arya is destined to kill Lady Stoneheart. Okay, now that's intriguing. That's intriguing. Arya will kill Lady Stoneheart. This is a classic theory. This is old school. This is genuinely old school. Wait, let me move that out of the way. I need to remember there's a there's a chat box. Sorry. Let's break it down. Does she have the means? Does she have the motive? And does it work thematically? So means she would have to return to Westeros. That's very likely happening anyway. That's what fans assume will happen even before Game of Thrones, where she does return. It doesn't make sense that she will continue to be no one serving a faceless cult in Bravos. She's still clinging on to Arya Stark as much as she tries to escape Arya Stark. She will reclaim her identity. She will reclaim Needle from its hiding place. She will return to Westeros. Whether that's to enact justice, to meet up with her family, etc., we'll have to find out. So she will return to Westeros, probably. And why not go to the Riverlands? She could get a boat to the Riverlands, just as she got a boat from the Riverlands to Bravos in the first place. So that's the means. Does she have the motive? Potentially. If she sees that her mother, well, that Lady Stoneheart isn't really her mother, but is actually just a horrific zombie woman, just a bag of moldy skin and brittle bones wrapped around a black, hateful soul that's dedicated towards nothing but vengeance. Because I don't even consider Lady Stoneheart and Catelyn to be the same character. They're different characters for me. So if she sees that her mother has just returned as this vengeful wraith, then she may kill her to end her suffering, to allow her to pass on to the next life, to give her the gift of mercy. And that's what she's doing in Bravos right now, right? The Faceless Men, they consider death to be the gift of mercy. And there are people who come to the House of Black and White who want to die, and they have a little drink and they pass away. It's the gift of mercy. So Arya has learned her lessons from Bravos. Maybe she will be merciful, and she will learn about death not just being an instrument of revenge, but an instrument of mercy. And of course, it's even more emotional because that is her mother. Narratively, is it satisfying? It could represent a turning point for Arya's character and her arc. First off, she's not going to be no one if she reacts to Lady Stoneheart in that way. That's an Arya move. That's her giving mercy to her mother. And of course, the whole idea of, Arya becoming this vengeful spirit, and then Lady Stoneheart being the personification of vengeance, and Arya almost killing her own, embracing mercy and killing her own inner vengeance, and realizing that the path she's going down will turn her into the creature before her that is Lady Stoneheart. So I think it could work. I quite like it. I don't understand how it could happen. Like, conceivably, like Lady Stoneheart's one of those storylines where I'm like, where is it going? It could, because I don't know how it's even going to continue beyond Jaime and Brienne being tangled up in it. I have no idea. But I do like it as a theory. I'm going to put it in A, actually. I do quite like that. Right. I need a drink. It is boiling in England right now. I'm melting. Although my flat is quite drafty, so it's cooler in my flat. I don't have AC, obviously, because I'm British. We don't have AC, but it's cooler in my flat than it is outdoors. So everyone's complaining about the heat, and I'm actually doing okay. But I love the summer. I love the summer. I love the sun. I love the heat. It makes me feel so much more creative and happy and sociable. And I get all fucking depressed at the end of the year. But right now, I'm in a good mood, baby. I'm in a good mood. Right. I need some water, though. And then after this stream, I'm going to need to grab some dinner, maybe some ice cream. Yeah, boy. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, interesting, from Lord Baratheon. Thank you for the super chat from Lord Baratheon. Wait, I'll have a bit more water. I'll actually mute myself too this time so I don't sound gross. Give me a sec. Right, okay, what are we doing? Euron is... Thank you. Super chat from Lord Baratheon. Euron is a fraud. This is a fun one. Euron is a fraud. So the idea here is that Euron is a bullshitter. He's not this dark, sorceress, eldritch villain who's going to bring the apocalypse and, drown the realm in blood and all that nonsense. He is actually just a con man, a snake oil salesman. He hasn't been to Valyria. He hasn't traveled the world. The Dragonbinder horn doesn't actually do anything. He's not going to do any theorized, mass sacrifice to summon a kraken. He's not going to bring down the wall. He's basically just LARPing. And, he's almost like conceptually, I like this character concept. And it's one, give me a sec. My apologies. And then a plane goes overhead. God damn it! I love this character concept. It's one that I even came up with for my own fantasy saga. I'm thinking about the idea of the ultra powerful villainous wizard warlock thing who's actually just like doesn't actually have these magical abilities. He's just bullshitting his way to the top. That is a fun idea, almost like a kind of evil Jesus, right? If you are to believe that Jesus, instead of being the Son of God, was a sort of a powerful orator and not trickster, but someone who performed quote unquote miracles and so on through trickery. I'm not trying to say it in an insulting way, but I guess through trickery to convince people. And that you kind of take that concept of, well, people who believe that Jesus was arguably a sort of a con man, right? Someone who did magic tricks basically, but backed it up with some nice compassionate talk. That if you flip it and you're like, what if they're like an antichrist figure where they're kind of playing up the role of being demonic as opposed to the Son of God? You know what I mean? Someone in the chat even mentioning that he could be something of a Rasputin figure. You're on the idea of people thinking that he was this mystic who could heal people and curse people, and he's just a very charismatic con man, right? So yeah, he could be something of a Rasputin. Anyway, to wrap up, what I'm saying is I love that conceptually, and it's a character idea I even have in my head, but it doesn't fit Euron. I think it's too late in the game for in the fourth book to introduce this. This is the new big bad, and he's a crazy world-ending eldritch bad guy, and actually, he's just LARPing. It's like, okay, why did you waste our time? This is a character you set up from the start. Why would you waste our time? I think it's more interesting, honestly, if he can back up what he's saying. I think he is coming in as sort of the final human villain. I do think he will probably be linked in some way to the Long Night. Because you kind of need a human face to villainy. Even though he's more monster than human, the others are ultimately just a sort of, so far they've just been portrayed as kind of a wave of death. So if you can put more human face onto the third act villainy, and maybe it will make us more invested, and also just look at things like, I know it's not canon, but in the Forsaken chapter, he's wearing Valyrian steel armor. Where did he get that from, if not actually traveling? And he I don't know. I think the Forsaken chapter kind of blows up the fraud argument, because it really does. I think it just makes him fundamentally less interesting. Oh yeah, as Longshank says in the comments, why did you waste our time? Quentin is typing. That's a good point. It wouldn't be beyond George to be like, haha, last minute second act villain who's probably going to go into the third act as well. Oh, you didn't see him coming. Oh, he's going to do all this apocalyptic stuff. Oh no, he's just trolling. He's LARPing. It's like, bro, come on. Anyway, Euron is a fraud. I like it for a character. I don't like it for this character, but I could see it working. He would have to do. I'd have to see what the point of it was, but I'm going to put it in C because it's kind of middling. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great theory. I just don't want it for him. And Martin will have to put in a lot of work to make it work. There we go. I really am the master of like making a simple point and taking 10 minutes to explain the point instead of just saying it in one go. Okay, stop rambling. No more ADHD ramble. We're gonna focus. We're gonna be concise, people. Come on, we'll be concise. Well, what do people have to say about what I just said, by the way? Oh yes, of course. There's the line of have you, Roderick the reader, when he's like, I've been to Valyria, I've done this and that, and Roderick just says to himself, have you? Which could be a seed of, he could be a huckster, but maybe it's just Roderick the reader is a skeptical man, and it's maybe meant to make the reader go, maybe it's meant to lull the reader into a full sense of security before you. But I don't know. I think the Forsaken chapter, I think, just sort of, again, Forsaken, it doesn't prove that he is actually what he claims to be, because all those nightmarish visions come because he's just giving Aaron Shade of the Evening, but it would just be lame. I don't know. I've said my piece. Anyway, what do we have next? Thank you for the super chat from Bandwagon, who says, listening while cooking dinner, great entertainment. Theory, Jon Snow will wield Dawn to end the long night. Longclaw goes to draw a moment. Okay, those are a couple of theories, you cheeky bastard. Jon Snow will wield Dawn. Longclaw to Jorah. Okay, let's break this down. So, Dawn is the what's the word when it's passed down through the family? It's like an heirloom. It's a it's a generational thing. It's ancestral. It's the ancestral sword of House Dane in Dawn. Dawn is the sword of House Dane in Dawn, and it's not Valyrian steel, but it basically bears all the property. It's super sharp, super light, super swift, but it's made from meteorite. It's made from the core of a fallen star, and that's where the seat of House Dane was built, Starfall. I do have a House Dane video on my Patreon. I made it like 3 years ago. I might remake it for public consumption, but if people want to watch it, check out the Patreon, I guess. But yes, it's this really badass sword. It's usually wielded by the Sword of the Morning, which itself is sort of, you have to earn it. You don't necessarily inherit it. You have to earn that title, and you get to wield Dawn and so on. Now, there are a load of theories that Dawn is going to be involved with the Long Night and with the others, because obviously you have the Long Night, and what ends the night? The dawn, right? And you could imagine a scenario of Jon Snow resurrected, wielding a white blade, fighting against the others in the dark. It just does sound pretty cool. And you can see why something made from the heart of a fallen star would be like sort of inherently magical and could potentially could essentially harm the others in the same way that Valyrian steel harms the others in Game of Thrones, in the show. And then, of course, the Dawn is the bringer of light, and Azor Ahai wielded a light bringer, and so Dawn is like just another word for light bringer. He'll wield Dawn, he's the chosen one, blah, blah, blah. I guess it's dependent on two things. One is Jon Snow fulfilling, at least temporarily, it could be subverted later, but it's dependent on Jon Snow fulfilling the chosen one archetype, which I think will probably be subverted in some capacity. And two, House Dane will have to give their sword to Jon Snow at some point, because he's not just going to steal it. And why would he be given it? Why wouldn't a Dane wield it? Of course, unless Jon Snow is the son of Ashara Dane, then he could wield Dawn, right? If he's the son of Ned Stark and Ashara Dane. But no, he's not. And who even currently has Dawn? I don't think it's even known who owns it. Unless I'm going crazy. Let me double check this. I'm not going crazy, am I? Is it just sort of because it's theorized that Ned Dane owns it, who's currently in the Riverlands, running one half of the Brotherhood without banners, the less psycho half. Yes. Hold on. Yeah, we don't know where it is. Last we heard about it, Ned Stark delivered it to Ashara Dane in Starfall. Other than that, where could it be? Maybe Ned Dane gets caught up with Jon Snow, or maybe Darkstar ends up stealing it, right? People theorize that Gerald Dane Darkstar, the Sword of the Evening, he of the Night, right? The edgy anime protagonist, that he was invented because there was no time skip, and so George wasn't able to age up Ned Dane, and so it's like, well, I need an older Dane. It can be Gerald, and Gerald's gonna maybe join Daenerys' Kingsguard, and if Daenerys' crew and Jon in the North team up, then maybe that's a way for Darkstar to get to Jon Snow. Maybe a Dane dies wielding Dawn, and Jon takes it up, or maybe it's given to Jon. I don't know, but I can see Jon Snow wielding Dawn. You don't have a Chekhov's meteorite sword called Dawn, which means light bringer, and not have it play a big part in the finale. Now, if Jon Snow has Dawn, that means, well, I now have this Valyrian steel sword, Longclaw, that I don't need anymore. So who could he give it to? Jorah. If, like in the show, Daenerys and Jon team up and they fight the Long Night together, you could have Jorah if he gets back into Daenerys' good graces. That's not guaranteed. Jorah could end up in the North. Jon Snow gives Longclaw back to him. Yeah, that could be a nice moment. I can see that happening. I'm going to put this in B tier. It's really cool, but it's almost I don't want to say, oh, this theory is almost too obvious, because, like, again, this motherfucker was planning on this being a trilogy finished in a few years. So, like, if things are obvious, it's because, you know, we've had too much time to think about this. But now, fuck it, I'm putting it in A. Actually, yeah, that's a nice combo. Okay, I said I was going to go through these ones quicker, and I didn't. I lie. I love to lie. I love fucking lying. Okay, who's next? Oh, the 24 minutes ago? I'm so far behind on Super Chat. I'm so sorry, fellas. I'm so sorry. Where did we go up to? Also, I'm glad people are listening while cooking. That's kind of cute. Totally not. Alfarius gave me £5. Thank you so much. Roose Bolton caused the doom of old Valeria with blood magic. ICPMs beneath the Dreadfort. There we go. We've had too many serious theories in a row. Let's go crazy with it. How do I even summarize this? Roose Bolton caused the doom with blood magic ICBMs. Brilliant. Well, we know Roose Bolton could be a vampire of sorts. Oh, I'll say this to a certain friend of mine who may or may not be watching this live stream, who may or may not want to cosplay as Euron at some point. You could do a good Roose. I'm throwing that out there. You could do a good Roose. So, if we're going in with bolt-on theory, vampire Roose, weird Roose, maybe he does engage with blood magic. Maybe that's the source of his power. Maybe that's why his house engages in flaying. It's not for the fun of it. It's not just to invoke fear and torture people and to wear skin cloaks. No, it's blood magic. And Roose Bolton, who of course is immortal, right? Of course, he kills his heir and then he skins his heir and he wears his heir's skin, like how the faceless men wear faces and transform, right? And so he's been living through the skins of all his descendants. It's been one man, one Roose all the way down. it's Rooses all the way up. And so he would have conceivably been alive during the Doom. Because we know House Bolton's been around for thousands of years, right? Like House Stark. So he could have been alive. He could have been alive. Old Bolton blood magic, maybe. And yeah, maybe he just launched some fucking missiles towards old Valyria. To what end? I don't know. I don't know. We have the means, and it's just a fact. But But why? Why would he do that? What would Roose get from killing off the heart of the Valyrian freehold, killing off the Dragon Lords? Oh, because Roose Bolton wants a long night to happen, and he knows the only thing that can stop the reemergence and the conquest and the slaughter of the others and White Walkers and Whites are dragons. So Roose Bolton was like, Roose Bolton is the fucking Night's King. Roose Bolton's the Night's King. Not the Night King from Game of Thrones, the icy Darth Maul motherfucker, played by a sword stuntsman who proceeded to not do any sword play because Benioff and Weiss didn't want him to have a fight scene. Brilliant. No, the Night's King in the books, the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, who's this crazy guy who kind of ran the Night's Watch as a tyrant, essentially. Ended up marrying a quote-unquote corpse woman with blue eyes. It's believed that she was actually an other. And he engaged in all kind of dark sorcery and slavery and stuff. And then he got overthrown by the Night's Watch. But maybe this dark villainous... And it's theorized he himself may have brought about the Long Night in some capacity, the first Long Night. But maybe that was Roose's father. The Night's King was Roose Bolton's father. Roose is the son of an other woman, a White Walker woman, where the White Walker women at, and a Bolton king, a Red King. Boom, Roose Bolton, bright blue eyes. Famous, pale blue eye, famous for the pale eyes. He's got the pale White Walker eyes. Bolton theory, skinning his descendants, LARPing as them for generations. And he wants to do his mama and papa proud by bringing forth the second Long Night. And how can you do that if there are fire-breathing dragons? So he had to destroy them with blood magic, ICBMs, nuke fucking Valyria. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. S tier. There we go. I should do an animated video about that. That would be a great April Fool's video. Let's fucking go. Ooh, okay, that's enough. What's going on? Bum. Soldier John Boy, super chat yet again. Thank you so much. Dany is killed in dragon battle by Aegon. He becomes king with Stannis' hand. Oh, sorry, yes. I got confused. I thought I misread it as Dany kills Aegon. No, Dany is killed in dragon battle by Aegon. So he wins the second Dance of the Dragons. He becomes king. Stannis is his hand. Jon is king in the north. Jon Con dies. Florence replaces the Tyrells. Sandok replaces the Lannisters, for fuck's sake, with his line and his wife Asha. Oh, okay. Fine, I'll indulge your nonsense. Okay. Aegon kills Dany. I'm going to break these up into various theories, if you don't mind. Aegon kills Dany. Almost definitely not happening. I don't see it ending that way. I think Dany's destined to kill Aegon. Dany is breaking the wheel of history. The classic... Almost the next chapter is meant to be young Griff. It's, you have stagnation and corruption and the War of the Five Kings, and then the brave, handsome, noble young king saves the day, and then the cycle continues. I think Dany exists to kind of break the wheel of history and kind of fuck up the cycle, and then like Bran uses that opportunity to be like, we're resetting the chessboard, if that makes any sense. Aegon killing Dany, it could happen, and it would be tragic. I could see a scenario where, like in the show, Daenerys and Jon team up to fight the apocalypse and then deal with Cersei. They do the Long Night, then they deal with Aegon, and after everything she's gone through, she's seen as the villain, her crazy slave armies, her evil advisors, the resurrected bastard king, Jon Snow, the White Wolf, the king in the north. And then, boom, they get wiped out by young Griff, who, of course, is a bit of a spoiled brat, but in the eyes of the commoners, the eyes of the nobility, and more importantly, in the annals of history, will be seen as brave, noble king who takes over, saves the day, kills the evil dragon queen. I could see it happening. but it would be weird. I'm going to put it in C tier because it's not crazy. It's not crazy. Actually, let's move these up a tad. Yep. Right, there we go. And I'm breaking this down. Stannis' hand. Okay. Stannis is Aegon's hand. That's just a big fat no. No fucking no. Stannis would never accept being Aegon's hand as long as he has a claim to the throne. Stannis thinks it's his duty to be king. He wants to be the next king. He will not settle for hand. This is E tier. Stannis will never. Jon is king of the north. So I'm gonna, again, I'm treating these as separate theories. So because Jon would not be king of the north with a Stannis handship, because Stannis would not allow the Seven Kingdoms to be broken up in any capacity. King Jon endgame, because we're talking, like, I believe he could become king at some point, like in the show potentially. But if we're talking at the end of, I think, okay, I'll be specific here. King in the north, Jon. Wait, let's rephrase that to King Jon in the north endgame. That will not be his endgame. Jon's endgame will not be king of the north. I believe the endgame will be, he won't be king of the north just because he's a son of a Stark, and he won't be Lord of the Seven Kingdoms just because he's the son of a Targaryen, because bloodlines shouldn't matter like that. No, he'll be the king beyond the wall, the king of the wildlings, because he has been chosen. So I think this is not happening. I'm putting this in E. I'll put it in D because, like, it's not impossible. Like, it could happen, but I wouldn't like it very much. King of the wildlings is his endgame, I think. What else? Jon Con dies. There's not much of a Jon, just as a theory in itself. Jon Con dies. I mean, I think that's just Jon Con dies. In no way is he living. He's already dying because he has fucking grayscale. But he never has a character been more doomed. He has a fatal disease. He's invading a realm and trying to seize power when there are many other claimants. And he's gay. He's doomed. He is doomed by the narrative. He is doomed for... But the concept of him dying is funny because it makes Quinn sad, so I'm going to put that in S tier. Right at the top. There we go. And then the Florence replaced the Tyrells. Okay, this would only happen if Stannis becomes king. This is just a very strange roundabout way. This is a roundabout way of saying Stannis becomes king, which isn't going to happen. Stannis is doomed. Florence replaced Tyrell is going in E tier. That's just not happening. And what was the final bit? Sandok replaces the Lannisters with his wife Asha. So Sandok will be resurrected, I guess. We'll marry Asha. Sandok and wife Asha replace Lannisters. I'm not even going to dignify that with any sort of response. There we go. Straight into Homelander staring in the cinema tier. What do we have next? Thank you for the super chat from Just Singer. Thank you so much. He says, Melisandre's shadow magic only works on the blood of the dragon. Both Renly and Courtney Penrose have Targaryen ancestry, and it's weird to have a random Storm house with Targ ancestry, unless there was a greater reason for it. I mean, okay, let's break this one down. This is interesting. This is an intriguing one. So shadow magic only works on blood of the dragon. So you specifically said shadow magic. You specifically said, so not the fire stuff, because we know that she does sacrifices and it's all about king's blood. But all the yeah. Okay. But shadow magic, we're talking about creating shadow babies with Stannis and then using those shadow babies as assassins to kill Renly and then Courtney Penrose. So it only works with Targaryen blood involved, which is to say, she only produced the shadow babies with Stannis because he has Targaryen blood, because he's descended from Princess Rhaena Targaryen, one of the Rhaenas, not Hot D Rhaena, one way later further down the line. And then, yeah, Renly, likewise, as a Baratheon, has that Targ ancestry. Courtney Penrose, having Targ ancestry, because, which Targaryen marries a Penrose? And I'm not talking about Aerys the First and Queen Aenla Penrose. So I guess your argument is, why would George make it so specifically that the Penroses have Targaryen ancestry? Is it a retcon, maybe a post-clash retcon, to justify why the Shadow Baby, that like Shadow Babies only work if you have Blood of the Dragon? It's all linked to Blood of the Dragon. I don't know. I don't think your blood dictates whether a shadow assassin kills you. I think King's blood could, but I don't know about being the victim of a shadow assassin. I'm not sure about that, but it's definitely intriguing what you brought up about Penrose. Yeah, everyone's saying Elena Penrose. Sorry, no, was there not a Targaryen princess who married a Penrose? Because the whole point of Courtney being descended from a Targaryen, that only works if it's a male Penrose marrying a Targaryen princess. Anyway, intriguing. Okay, Longshanks once again. Wait, hold on a sec. I gotta speed up. Fagon will emulate. Thank you, Longshanks, who says Fagon will emulate his father and abandon his Martell wife Arianne to pursue a Stark, Sansa. Also, Fagon is secretly Sandok the Shadow. All right. Well, I'm not Sandok pilled like you guys. I'm not taking the shadow pills. Fuck you. But this is very fascinating. Fagon LARPs as Rhaegar. Wait, no, that's too vague. Eric. Yeah, no. Fagon LARPs as Rhaegar. So I put Martell and Stark. This one is very fun, actually. I quite like this one. So, Fagon, of course, young Griff. Is he a Targ? Is he a Blackfire? We have no idea. But we know that Rhaegar, his alleged father, was married to Elia Martell, and at some point he abandoned her to quote-unquote kidnap Lyanna Stark and rape her and lock her in a Tower of Joy, although more likely they eloped and were in love, and it's all a big subversion, but then at the same time she's like 15, 16, and he's like 23, so like then in a roundabout way that was probably unintentional for George, it does just become rapey again, but that's neither here nor there. And will Fagon do the same thing? It's like poetry, it rhymes, you know what I'm saying? Shout out George Lucas. That Fagon will marry Arianne... Whoops. Fagon will marry Arianne Martell and get with Sansa. And fall for Sansa. And it'll be just like Rhaegar abandoning Elia for Lyanna. A fun little parallel. That could be fun. It could cause chaos in terms of losing their Dornish allies, maybe starting a civil war in the south. It could bring the Vale on side to young Griff. And it could, because of course Lyanna, to continue this comparison, Lyanna Stark was betrothed to Robert Baratheon, and so Sansa, obviously, Littlefinger wants her to be betrothed to Harry the Heir, so this would scupper Littlefinger's plans if Sansa suddenly gets kidnapped slash runs off with Fagon. He's like, no, I wanted you to marry Harry the Heir, now you're marrying this guy. It's definitely intriguing. I'm not entirely sure what to do with this. I do like the idea of Fagon marrying Ariane, and I kind of it's at the sample chapter where Ariane bumps into Lysono Ma, who's the spy master for the Golden Company, and he's a Lyseni, and Ariane, who likes to sleep around, is freaked out by his Valyrian features. Like, oh, I don't like the sort of almost feminine qualities and violet eyes and pale hair, and so she might not actually be attracted to Fagon, right? So, but I kind of like that the marriage would be a sort of, that it's what could lead to. It could just be interesting for Ariane to have to seduce someone she's not into, or maybe it scuppers Duran's plans. Maybe Duran will want them to marry, and Ariane will be like, "No, I'm not into him," or the other way around. Maybe Fagon isn't into Ariane, and there's a theory that they could get together, but Fagon will ruin the alliance by running off, not with Sansa, as this theory speculates, but running off with one of the sand snakes. Which one? Fucking Elia Sand, the fourth one, because she's quite, out there. Yeah, I can. Here's the thing: I can see Fagon marrying Ariane. I think that's almost definite. I think that's one hell of a power couple. George has spent all these years writing that sex scene, I think. But getting with Sansa Stark, running off like a Lyanna thing, no. I'm not a fan of the direct parallels. The whole, oh, it's exactly the same thing that happened. Yeah, that's a bit much. But it does intrigue me. So, and I just have no idea where Sansa Stark's story's going, really, so I'm going to put that in C. Okay, let me just check the chat for a sec. If Lyanna did go with Rhaegar, a married man, she is a disgusting hypocrite. I mean, she's also like a child, so, Let's have a look. Just reading the chat, just seeing what people have said. Bum. Okay. Moving on. Another soldier but your Haven unit has broken down. Soldier John Boy, there we go. Sandok escaped to the wall and was frozen like Captain America. Until Bloodraven unfroze him, he'll be a big part of the Winds of Winter Trust. God damn it, alright. Of course, Soldier Boy talks about people being frozen. Wait, Captain Sandok. So, escaped to the wall. We don't know his fate. Maybe he went to the wall. Maybe he got frozen like Captain America. Maybe Bloodraven unfroze him. Maybe he's Cold Hands. Maybe Sandok the Shadow is fucking Cold Hands. Although Cold Hands speaks and Sandok can't speak, right? So, yeah, he's a silent shadow. Had his tongue ripped out. Fair enough. Oh, fuck off. Nah, that's going in Homelander tier. What are you playing at? All right, Beesbury. Oh, for fuck's sake, Sandok is a secret Peasbury? Lord Peasbury super chatted that Sandok is a Peasbury? I can't... Okay. Sandok is a Peasbury. I'm not even gonna... This is going straight in the bottom tier. You're not even getting... I'm not even gonna dignify that. Sandok is not a fucking Peasbury. What is your obsession with the Peasburys? Like, this isn't just a bit. This is like... Your YouTube account is Lord P... Am I missing something with the Peasburys? I'm gonna look up the Peasburys right now. They're just followers of Stannis. Lord Peasbury accompanies Stannis to the north, and 4 Peasbury soldiers are burned for cannibalism. And Lord Robin Peasbury himself may have taken part. You stan a cannibal. You stan a cannibal. Have you no shame? Okay, thank you for the super chat from Robbie Beckmeyer, who says, I appreciated the Sandok theory, totally blindsided by it though. Didn't realize he had a following outside of just me. Are you the guy who keeps commenting, telling me to animate Sandok's epic stand, his defense of Maegor's keep? Right, another Soldier John boy. Oh no, I lost track. No, where did it go? There it is. Not trying to be a dick about Sandok, I just like him. There's something very funny about you paying to send a message to be like, to let me know that you are in fact shitposting. Like, I know you're shitposting. Thank you for the super chat from Cuz Kofu. 100 Mexican dollars. Let's go. That's at least £2. Cuz Kofu, you've been a real one for a while. You've been in my chat quite all the time. Accent Corner. I think the reason there are so many... We love Accent Corner. If you haven't seen it already, by the way, let me just interrupt the super chat reading. If you haven't seen it already, I did a video breaking down the accents in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, just as I broke down all the Game of Thrones accents, and just as I will break down the House of the Dragon accents after Season 3. Cuz Kofu says, Accent Corner. I think there are so many people in the South who speak like Northerners. It's a reference to the fact that many of them decided to stay in the South after the Dance of the Dragons. Ooh, okay, so this is show only. This is a show only theory. So basically, kind of a shitpost theory, but I actually like what you're going for. So, Northern Southerners. Let's call it that. So the idea here... okay, so basically, if you haven't watched it, in the Duncan Egg TV show, there's quite a lot of Northern accents. Both in the small folk, so plumber, the steward, the Northern innkeep, guards, and so on, but also even in the nobility. Looking at the Fossaway, both Stefan and Raymond Fossaway. Sorry, I distracted myself because the moment I said Stefan, I just had an intrusive thought of Lionel Baratheon saying, "Who the fuck is this Stefan?" Sorry, Stefan and Raymond Fossaway both have Northern accents, even though they are Southern nobles, darling. They are Reach nobles. What are we doing? The Reach, if we're going by the consistent accents in Game of Thrones, nobles in the South have standard Southern English British / received pronunciation. Commoners in the South either have a sort of estuary accent or a more exaggerated Cockney accent. Sometimes we might hear a bit of West Country here and there or some other stuff, but in Duncan Egg, Northern, we've got some Northern English accents, and in Game of Thrones, those are usually exclusive to the north of Westeros. And so what Kofel is saying is that no, we know that that Roddy the Ruin's Winter Wolves march south during the Dance of the Dragons. We have Northerners, they fight in the south. We know many of them actually choose to settle in the south. So maybe some just dispersed throughout the Reach, married into some families, and the accent stayed. But that doesn't work, because your accents do not come from your parents or your family. They come from your social group, from your peers, from your friends, from your area. That's how you develop an accent, which is why it doesn't really make sense for there to be pockets of Northern accents in the Reach, because individual Northerners coming down, their ancestors would... I'm okay with peasants having Northern accents because they could have just travelled south, but the Fossaways, that's the one where I'm like, why are they... No one cares. No one here cares. Oh my God. I'm talking to myself. I love the idea, though. I love it so much I'm putting it in S tier. No one knows what I'm talking about. Thank you for the super chat from Channel of Ice and Fire, who says, Sup Haven, hope you're doing well, my friend. Trying to finish up the recording process for my Jaehaerys video, but my voice is giving up on me. Gotta love a super chat that's half super chat and half promotional material. Theory time. The Red Priests travel with Dany to Westeros. Okay. Red Priests with Dany. So this is the idea that, well, that basically you have the High Priest of Relorism, Benero, and then you have Mokoro, who's kind of his lieutenant. basically they're declaring that there is an Azor Ahai, but no, Melisandre's wrong. It is neither Stannis nor Jon Snow. It is in fact Daenerys Targaryen. The prophesied hero of the Lord of Light is in fact the one who rides a fire-breathing dragon. Who would have guessed, right? Who would have guessed? So Mokoro is already heading to Daenerys. You can see a situation where not just Mokoro, but Benero and many Red Priests join her, and she has a whole faction of like fire priest cultists following her. I love that idea. It really helps build her up into quite a terrifying presence, quite a formidable presence. And it's just cool. It's just fucking cool if she's surrounded by red priests who are worshipping her. Like I said earlier, I think Dany v Aegon, blacks versus greens in House of Dragon is, I think, maybe Ryan Condal taking inspiration from Dany versus Young Griff in Winds, if Winds is ever coming out. Red Priest for Dany, I like that a lot. I'm gonna go with it's a vague theory. I'll go A. I'll go A nonetheless. Okay. Need some more water. It's boiling. What? How many degrees is it? Someone from the Czech Republic, maybe? Commenting? Hi in the chat. Hi, I don't speak your language, unfortunately. Someone says, sup, man. What up, Breaking Brian? How you doing? Right. Another super chat from Kuzkoful. Jon Snow will marry Val and Asher Greyjoy. What the what? Oh, I see. As in marry both, not as in one and then one dies in the other, but you mean both at the same time in terms of Dragon having 3 heads, Aegon and his sister wives, Valyrian polygamy. Okay. Why? Okay. So Jon Snow will marry Val and Asher. So Val makes sense. She's a wildling woman. She's beautiful. She has some flirty moments with Jon Snow. I think he's going to get with Val when he becomes King Beyond the Wall, King of the Wildlings. That's. But why is Asher in there? Don't get me wrong. I could see Jon being Asher's type, but why? He becomes king. He becomes King Beyond the Wall and also King of the Iron Islands. Why would he marry Asher? They've not interacted. They don't really have much connection to each other. What is there? Would it be a marriage of love? Would it be a political marriage? But again, in what sense? Like, I need an explanation with these theories. You need to explain. It's one thing to say the theory, kind of justify it a bit. Give me something to work with. You know. So it's funny because it's like marry Val. I think highly likely. Marry Asher, no. I'm gonna put it in D tier. It's not going lower because no, it is. It's going in E. The Asher bit is going in E. Why would he marry Asher? Justify yourself, man. Okay, thank you for the super chat from Lord Brathian, who says Maesters poisoned the last dragon. Okay, classic. That's a classic one. So obviously, during the reign of Aegon III, there were, the last dragons were the size of dogs and they were sickly creatures and they died off. And the idea is that there's a few dragons who survived the Dance of Dragons and the Maesters just tried to wipe them out. The Maesters just tried to wipe them out because they saw the destruction they caused. This group of, academics, intellects, scribes, authors, maesters, archmaesters, novices all went, nope, we're not fucking doing this. We're not having another civil war. We're not letting magic, the chaos of magic rise. We're not letting dragons go crazy. Wiping everyone out. And so they helped kill the final dragons. They poisoned them. They stunted them. And again, I don't like the whole the maesters started the dance of the dragons to wipe out the dragons. I hate that theory. That theory's so lame to me because it just plays into the whole something that starts due to various character motivations and agency and complicated chain of events is actually all being puppeteered by an elite cabal or a single person. It just makes these complex things fundamentally boring. So no, the maces didn't start the dance, but trying to wipe out the dragons post-dance, I can see it. And just generally being sort of dragon-phobic, magic-phobic. Okay, I can see that. I kind of, yeah, that's a classic one, and I think I do buy that one. Because we know that from Marwyn the Mage that the Maesters hate magic. That's a crazy sentence. Load of M's in there. Okay. Maesters poison the dragon. I'm going to go B because it is probably true. It's not the most exciting one, but only because the fandom's talked about it for so long. Sorry, that answer was a bit all over the place because I got distracted by the chat. Someone... Where are they? Someone said something about Fantasy Haven bathwater, and it just completely fucking took me out of the zone. God damn it. Okay, what's next? Thank you for the super chat from Major Duels. How am I saying that? Anyway, thanks, fam. The Boltons have a secret living Valyrian sword with a weirwood handle that will latch onto Theon and transform him into another. What the fuck? What do you mean? What do you mean? You can't just say that and... Okay, you know what? Living... Is this a reference to something? This sounds very anime. Living Valyrian sword. Wait. Living Valyrian Bolton sword turns Theon into another. Okay. What even? What even? Okay. Oh my. Okay, let's break this down. So the Boltons having a Valyrian steel sword, understandable, exciting. I think actually there should be more powers. There should be more Valyrian swords in the story. We should know more. It's kind of a waste that it should, in my opinion, all of the great houses and all the main houses should have their own cool Valyrian steel swords with specific pommels and cool names. Like, I think the fact that they're as rare as they are is a bit boring. You know, I want to see the Aaron sword. You know what I'm saying? CK3, the Game of Thrones mod for Crusader Kings 3, they've come up with a bunch of non-canon Valyrian steel swords with cool names like Stinger for House Beesbury. Ooh, that shit's just cool, you know? Like, anyway, so the Boltons could have a Valyrian steel sword, right? The Starks do, the Mormonts fucking do. They're on a distant northern island. Who's to say the Red Kings of the Dreadfort can't have a Valyrian steel sword? A weirwood handle is crazy. I love that. And again, they're in the north. They worship the old gods. That kind of makes sense. Now, where you're losing me is that the sword will latch onto Theon and turn him into a fucking other. Sorry, what? Are we saying that are we saying that Valyrian steel swords or that weirwood handles on swords transform people into others and that's how the others were made? And are we saying the Boltons made the others? Oh, because Roose Bolton is the son of an other and the Night's King as previously established, and he did nuke Valyria with blood magic ICBMs. And he actually created the... Oh no, he's the son. He kind of created the others if he's the son. That's a good point. But maybe his father... Wait, we're coming back to it. His father obviously would have been a Bolton. The Night's King, Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, Bolton. And maybe he wanted a waifu, so he created the others. Oh my god. He wanted to go... He was so down bad that he wanted a girlfriend, so he was like, I'm just going to make a bunch of hot ice elf people And so he invented the others. It wasn't the children of the forest. Ooh, a little gay pattern, and I'm going to stab a dagger into a random guy like in a show. No, it's a Bolton, the 13th Lord Commander. He wanted a GF so bad. He got Valyrian Steel Sword, Weirwood Handle, and then it latches onto people and turns them into sexy ice elves. And he's held, and then Roose Bolton the vampire's held onto this weapon for aeons, generations, and he's going to use it to turn Theon into another. For what end? I don't know. I'm so blindsided by what the theory is. I haven't even thought about like what the point of making Theon an ice elf is. But you know what? That's going in S tier, right under the Roose Bolton. We're creating a whole fucking like mythos here. We're creating a whole narrative here. What the hell is going on? Right. What are we doing, man? What am I doing? I'm so hungry. I've not had any food. Okay. It's all good, man. Thank you for the super chat from Literary Dilettante, who super chatted 500 something. It's an East Asian currency, and I can't. What is that? What currency is that? Someone let me know in the chat. I'm curious because I don't know how much that is. I don't know whether, like, I'm assuming 500 is not remotely similar to 500 quid, right? Otherwise, I'd get a lot more excited than this. I assume it's more like, you know. But what is that? You know what? How about I look it up instead of being a dick? Let's just stop being lazy. Let's look up some currency symbols. It's not that one. It's not that one either. Please excuse the currency symbol research portion of the live stream. God damn it, it's not that one either. Fuck. You can tell the value by the color of the super chat. That's a good point, but I'm not reading these super chats via YouTube. I'm reading them via Streamlabs, and they're not color coded via Streamlabs. Return to us, Literary Dilettante. Return to us. Let us know, where are you from? What currency is that? I'm curious. People asking if it's the yen. It's not the yen. It's not the Y sign. What is it? What is it? Re. Okay, we'll find out. If bro is still listening, he can let us know. Oh, it's rupees. That's the rupee symbol? That's the rupee symbol? There's no way. Oh, I guess it's okay. The way it's come up on Streamlabs doesn't look anything like the rupee symbol. It looks a distorted version of that. Cool. So not East Asian after all. Anyway, there we go. The thing the Brits stole a shit ton of. All right, behave, lad. Okay. But yes, thank you very much. Let me read off your super chat now. Having subjected everyone to the currency hunt. Let's have a look. Late, so on theme. My one original theory to the fandom. Oh, an original theory. Everyone listen in. Benjen is the hooded man in Winterfell. Also, love your work, you beautiful bastard. No one appreciates all phrase explained enough. I should have read the super chat before I started rambling about the currency. First off, thank you so much for enjoying my work. I really appreciate that. No one appreciates all phrase explained enough. I think it's got enough appreciation. It's got 6-figure views. It's. I do think it's a little bit underrated. Actually, I agree. It's a bit underrated. Shout out every phrase explained. Benjen is the hooded man in Winterfell. You came up with that? No one's come up with that before? Interesting. So for those who are wondering, there is a mysterious hooded man who confronts Theon Greyjoy. He confronts Theon. Oh, shit. No, put that there. And basically calls him a turncloak. And this is when Theon's sort of in his reek phase, or trying to break out of his reek phase and become Theon. And it's during the blizzard at Winterfell, and it's all weird and creepy. And there's a hooded man, and people have gone, who the fuck is this guy? Calling him a turncloak. Is it meant to be a character in disguise? Is it Northern Guardsman? Was it Mance Rayder? Was it a hallucination, a manifestation of Theon's guilt while Theon mentally breaks? Or is it Benjen Stark? Ooh, no, okay, the question is, why the fuck would it be Benjen Stark? Why would Benjen go beyond the wall, go missing, and then come back south and wear a hood and go up to Theon and be like, you're a fucking turncloak? Because even if he was in disguise, and he was trying to, maybe he was working with Bloodraven, working with Melisandre, trying to achieve something in Winterfell, or just trying to save Arya. Maybe he just abandoned maybe he abandoned the Night's Watch. I'm going north, and he just used that opportunity to be like, I'm fucking fleeing, and he just flees south, living in a little hut by the river, you know, in disguise. I have nothing. I don't know who Benjen is. He died years ago. But then he hears Arya Stark's marrying Ramsay, and he goes, I'm going to rescue her myself. So he disguises himself, sneaks into Winterfell on the back of a pork wagon. And no, I'm not talking about Fat Walder Frey. And he goes in and bumps into Theon. He's like, I don't want to compromise my position because I'm trying to save Arya, but god damn it, I've got to get my emotions out there. Theon, you're a fucking turncloak. No, Benjen's not the kind of person who'd abandon the Night's Watch like that, from what we know of him. Also, he doesn't serve any role in Dance, so it would be random if it is fucking if it is Benjen. It's not Benjen. Benjen's not Euron. Benjen's not Dario. Benjen's not the hooded man. I'm gonna have to put that in. I'm putting that in E and not Homelander cinema tier, just because it's not that much. It is a shitpost, but like, it is conceivable. Like, at this point, you know, Benjen is Euron is a shitpost. Benjen could be the hooded man. Like, that's not an insane stretch. That is conceivable, but it relies on him basically being a Night's Watch deserter. Roose Bolton's the hooded man. Roose Bolton just like trolling Theon by just disguising himself as someone else and being like, you suck. All right, who's next? Another super Longshanks. Wait, hold on. I need some water. Excusez-moi. Who said Benjen Netanyahu? Castle Black impressed. Right, what are we doing here? Yes, Longshanks. Walder Frey will survive the series. No civil war. Okay. Walder Frey lives. There's no universe in which Walder Frey is surviving the series. He's old, he's goutish, he's going blind, he's going deaf. He will either get his comeuppance, or he will die, and the comeuppance will be House Frey tearing itself apart, like in the Civil War. Shout out to the Frey Civil War animated theory video on my channel. Ding! Where did I fucking put it there? But no, there's no way he's just living and chilling. Like, I guess he could stay alive, and then the Civil War happens under him, and he makes it to the end of the series, and he's just an old ass man, and House Frey has killed his. No, he's off. He's off. He's off, fam. It's Jova for Walder, without question. Yeah, if a Game of Thrones was written with like big time skips in mind, like the story spanning decades, how long was he expecting Walder Frey to die? Because I always thought to myself, why isn't Walder Frey like 100? Why is he 90? Why not go all the way and just be like he's 100? And I wondered if it was like a time thing. Anyway, where did I put that? Where did I put that? Oh, yeah, no, E tier. Waterfrey's not living. Fuck you. Thank you for the Streamlabs donation from Scout Trooper 642. Thank you so much, Scout Trooper. Euron's attack on Old Town will be thwarted in the Winds of Winter after the High Towers realize that to fight monsters, they need monsters of their own. Thus, the High Tower will be restored to its true battle mech form and start 1v1ing multiple Krakens with style. Yeah, boy, that's what we're talking about. Let's go. Are you Hightower? Are you referring to the Hightower Gundam theory? Are you referring to the Hightower mecha controlled by Melora the Mad Maid? Leighton Hightower sitting in his like little Star Trek fucking control room, like, let's go. The Hightower grows arms, marches out of Old Town, Pacific Rim. Euron creates a blood sacrifice, destroys the Red White Fleet. Krakens rise. The Krakens, they're huge, they're giant, they're being walked by Euron. But then you have the Hightower. Then you have the Hightower mecha, and it's a big fight, and they're like punching each other. And then you have the fucking glass candle laser. That's S tier. It's just a fact. We know this is happening. We know this is happening. You know what else is happening? You know what else has been happening for the last year? That's right. If you go on fantasyhavenmerch.com, oh no, it's behind a bunch of hold on. Let's try that again. Let's put it, make it the top layer. We good? Yeah. No. Fuck. No. Fuck. I'm trying to do a thing. Oh my god. How do I make this the top layer? Yeah. Set. Bring to front. There we go. Can we try that again? Can we just try that again? Okay. That was just the rehearsal. We'll do it again. Hey, you know what else is cool? If you go on fantasyhavenmerch.com, we have an amazing t-shirt drawn by me. It is the Hightower mecha. Not to be confused but with the place of worship. A Hightower mech, Hightower Gundam, fighting against a giant Kraken warged by Euron. No text to avoid legal problems, of course. This is just robot versus squid. Nothing to do with A Song of Ice and Fire, but you can pretend it's something to do with A Song of Ice and Fire. You could check it out on fantasyhavenmerch.com. Links in the description. I have a t-shirt myself. It's kind of fire. Not gonna lie. I would say that about my own merch, but it's very cool. And it's a great way of supporting the channel. Boom. That was a layup, apart from the awkward bit where it was stuck behind all the text. But that was, thank you so much for giving me an excuse to ramble about my merch. Okay. Hightower Gundam S tier, moving on. What are we going to do? Debate that? What am I going to do? Disagree? Let's move on. Thank you for the super chat from Emil Courtniemi. Is it? Or maybe it's Elik Ortenheim. Me. Fuck. I don't know. Anyway. Illyrio Brightflame, father of Aegon VI and widow of Sarah Blackfire. Okay. Yes. 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 I like this. I like this. What did I miss? Let's fucking go. Illyrio Brightflame. Let's just for the sake of space, we'll just call it Illyrio Brightflame. So let's break it down. There is a theory that young Griff, aka Aegon VI, aka King Aegon Targaryen, the alleged son of Prince Rhaegar, is actually a Blackfire king, basically. And the Golden Company are supporting him because there's a Blackfire. We know that there's a fun little metaphor in, is it Feast or Dance, where there's a rusty, there's like a tavern sign, which is a rusty dragon, and then the water washes the rust away and it becomes black, and it's like underneath the red dragon is a black dragon, so that could be Blackfire foreshadowing. We know that Illyrio Mopatis says, oh, the Blackfire died out through the male line. Maybe it lived through the female line. Maybe it lived through Sarah. We know that Illyrio Mopatis's true love, he's never loved since she passed away. She died of grayscale. Sarah Mopatis. Maybe originally she was Sarah Blackfire. She was the last of the Blackfire line. The female line, that is. And so that means that young Griff is half Blackfire, and the Golden Company are supporting a Blackfire king, and he doesn't even know. So that's a classic theory. That's a classic theory. Sarah Blackfire, Aegon Blackfire, Illyrio doing this for his son and for his wife's long-lost cause. However, what this theory is throwing in is that Illyrio is not just any old cheesemonger. He's not any old dairy loaf merchant. No, he himself is a bright flame. He is descended from Aerion Targaryen, who we saw in the Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, Egg's psycho older brother, who of course goes into exile and Lys, and we know he has one son canonically called Maegor, who never takes the throne. Perhaps Maegor Targaryen set up shop in Essos. And maybe he had a cadet branch of Bright Flames, and maybe one of his descendants. I mean, one of the theories is that Varys is a Bright Flame, but hence the King's Blood, right? With his balls being fried. But maybe it's Illyrio who has Bright Flame blood, thus making young Griff half Targaryen, half Blackfire. Okay. Illyrio is a Bright Flame, and then he like faked his name, Mapatis. My issue is that I don't see the point. I don't see the purpose. Well, why would he be a Bright Flame? Sarah being a Blackfire, young Griff being a Blackfire, that opens up many possibilities. Illyrio can just be a rich merchant who's financing his son's claim. He doesn't need to be a Blackfire. A Bright Flame. Like, I don't mind Varys as a Bright Flame. Illyrio, it just feels a bit pointless. So I'm gonna put that in. I'm gonna put that in D. I'm not quite feeling it. Even though, yeah, not feeling it. Thank you for the super chat from Schnitzelfox, who sent in a couple of euros but didn't say anything. Please return, Schnitzelfox. Thank you for the super chat from Channel of Ice and Fire, who says, not a theory. Sorry, I didn't mean to promo my channel on your stream. My bad. You don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize for it. Look, I know how the game is played. You know, when you're a smaller YouTuber, you send in super chats to big YouTubers. It's a way for people to see your channel. It's kind of self-promotion. That's fine. If I had a problem with it, I'd say. Right. Oh, another one from Schnitzelfox. Varys and Littlefinger are secretly allies. Ooh. Okay. Varys X Littlefinger. People will interpret that in the wrong way. It's fine though. Okay. Varys and Littlefinger are secretly allies. That's a fun one. Because bear in mind, we don't get all of the Varys Littlefinger sassy interactions that we do in the show. So they have to be working towards the same cause for this theory to make sense. And that would be, obviously we know Varys wants young Griff on the throne. His actions don't make sense otherwise. As you know, his actions... Varys and Illyrio's actions don't make any fucking sense anyway, actually, because George keeps retconning stuff. But Littlefinger, he's climbing the pole. Chaos is a ladder. He's found himself as a Lord of Regent of the Vale. He's trying to puppeteer Sansa, trying to puppeteer Harry the Heir, perhaps. Maybe he is working with Varys. Maybe his plan is, yo, let's work together. You get young Griff on the throne. I'll make sure the Vale is on your side. When young Griff invades, well, he's invading, he's going to go, Sansa, Harry the Heir, marry, boom. Now, listen to me. We are siding with young Griff. Maybe we're claiming the Riverlands and siding with young Griff, you know, getting the realm on his side. Maybe they are working together, but what would Littlefinger gain from Aegon taking the throne? Maybe he's been promised a position, a handship, perhaps? Definitely not. Definitely not. I don't like this. I prefer them being two high-quality schemers with their own plans, with their own individual plans. With Varys being a lot more... broad, and Littlefinger's being very intensely personal, if that makes sense. Okay, we're making our way through... Oh my... Okay. We're catching up. We'll probably wrap up the stream soon. This is a very successful stream. People are loving this. Thank you, Quinn, for coming up with this idea so I could steal it from you. Thank you for the super chat from DRT is King. Who's DRT? Stannis' false Lightbringer will become the true Lightbringer, as Stannis will sacrifice Shireen to make his Lightbringer the Lightbringer, which is to say, the sword, in wins as he fights a losing battle when the others break through the wall. Ah, so Stannis is Azor Ahai, and the prophesized Azor Ahai with Lightbringer. Stannis' sword will be the real Lightbringer. And like how Azor Ahai sacrificed his wife Nissa Nissa to forge Lightbringer, Stannis will sacrifice his daughter, his loved one. So Shireen sacrifice. Honestly, we could phrase this as Shireen equals Nissa Nissa, basically. Shireen is Stannis' Nissa Nissa. It's a cool concept. No, I think Stannis is fundamentally not Azor Ahai. He's not the last hero. He's not the chosen one. If he survives the political scheming in Winterfell, I think his death will be facing against the others, and the others will cut through his fake sword and kill him, and he'll realize he's not the chosen one. I see that as an ending for him. I'm going to put that in D. I'm put that in D because it's a fun concept, but because Koful has expanded on the Valar Nasha. Everyone, listen in. Perk your ears up. Do the little fucking Angry Birds meme. Get your ears out. If Jon marries Valar Nasha, he would be the three-headed dragon of the first men. Because he'd unite the Northerners, Wildlings, and Iron Men, the three groups that are descendants of the first men. Oh, Jon being the northern son of a Stark, Val being a Wildling, quote-unquote, princess, and Asha being a Greyjoy. The three-headed dragon of the first men. That's a very fun concept. I still disagree with it, but that justification, I didn't even come up with that. That's kind of fire. Another expansion of a previous super chat in the comments. I admit Illyrio Brightflame is mostly just to marry the Brightflame and Blackfire theories, make Aegon legitimate, strengthen the Blackfire cause, make Bloodraven seethe. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I almost feel like it's just a bit too many. It's one too many secret targs if Illyrio is also secretly a Brightflame targ, you know. Not to say that George wouldn't do it, of course, but totally not. Alfarius, once again, thanks so much. You said Roose Bolton is the hooded man, and the entire Winterfell wedding is a sick game to satisfy Roose Bolton's ungodly desires. Okay. Well, those are two theories in one. Those are two theories in one. One of them is Roose Bolton is the hooded man trolling Theon, which is really fucking funny. And the other is the Winterfell wedding is a sick game to satisfy Roose's ungodly desires. You need to expand on that. What the fuck does that mean? What does that? What do you mean? As in, Roose Bolton's getting off on Jane Poole marrying Ramsay? Or is he getting off on a bunch of nobles being stuck in a castle? Like, what do you mean? You gotta clarify. But the Roose Bolton hooded man, that's kind of fire. Roose Bolton is the hooded man just to troll Theon, just because he thinks it's kind of funny. That's going in S tier. That's fire. Someone has to be a secret Brightflame. Varys. Although I kind of like Varys being the last of the male line of Blackfire, but he's castrated. Varys could be a Brightflame too, though. Nothing to expand on the Rooses. I guess, yeah, the theory is just that what if the Roose was loose? Right. Wait, who said... Yeah, that's a threesome I want to watch. What? Oh, the head of the... Yeah, Jon Val Asher. Okay. I was like, you talking about Roose and something? No. Honestly, Jon Val Asher, George would have fun writing that one. We wouldn't have fun reading it, but he would have fun writing it. I'm going to try and pronounce your name. Aisling Caroline O'Keefe. Did I get that right? Probably not. There we go. Another... Hold on, what have we got? The Real Zambi, by the way, thank you so much, says Blackfire bloodline is an anti-Azor Ahai bloodline. Huh. Okay, let's break this down. That's interesting. Blackfire bloodline equals anti-Azor Ahai. So in terms of, so you can, like, creating that dichotomy of the Targaryens being the magical dragon lords connected to the prophecy. You've got Aerys the First scouring over texts. You've got, you know, Rhaegar being obsessed with prophecy. You've always got Daenerys and Jon. Which one is Azor Ahai? All that stuff. Who will save? Who will stop the Long Night? Who will bring the dawn? Etc. Etc. And of course, supported maybe by maybe Blood Raven's in on this too. Maybe he's also trying to end the Long Night and so on. Oh, Ashling, not Aisling. Yeah, of course, Ashling. What am I talking about? Oh, I don't know my Irish names, goddamn. But then you have the Blackfire line, and again, you've got the dichotomy of Blood Raven and Bittersteel. Blood Raven being the sorcerer, and then Bittersteel being the non-magical Conan the barbarian warrior, right? That maybe the Blackfires have never ridden a dragon because they didn't exist back then. So they kind of represent the non-magic, non-prophecy faction, and so that kind of makes them an anti-Azor Ahai bloodline. What are you saying that? Are you saying that? Yeah, that they're the non-magical, non-prophetic side, and that young Griff taking over is almost like maybe Dany will see it as not just that's my throne, but I'm the one, or Jon's the one who needs to take the throne to stop the Long Night, and the wrong bloodline has taken the throne. It's the Blackfire line. No, they can't stop the Long Night. That's why, and that's a justification for taking out Aegon. Maybe interesting. Or when you say anti-Azor Ahai, are you saying anti-Azor Ahai? Like, not just this bloodline is not part of the Rhaegar prophecy bullshit. It's do you mean they're actively opposed to Azor Ahai, as in, but that would make them what, pro Long Night? I need more. I need more. You know what? Oh no, I already wrote it up, didn't I? I like the vibe of it, but I need to know more of like where it's going. What do we do? I'm gonna put it in C, because so far it's just a bunch of some disparate thoughts going around, and it's fun, but like I need more. Thank you, super chat from Pioneer, who says, I took your advice and I put my phone away while I was kayaking. My man, good job, Pioneer, my boy, one of my closest patrons, one of my legends. Yes, well done for not watching a live stream while on the water. Another super chat from Schnitzel Fox, who says, did you see the 3-hour Varys and Littlefinger video from John Grenwood? I have not. Let me look that up right this moment. Grenwood or Greenwood? Greenwood. I have not. I've not seen this channel before. Oh, that's a big Varys video essay. 2 hours, 40 minutes. Ooh. Varys is not Fagon's ally. Varys killed Joffrey. Yo, this guy's got a Varys boner. Yo, I've got to check him out. Let's check out John Greenwood. Thanks for letting me know about him. And we have finally caught up with super chats. We have finally caught up. I was thinking this would be like the whole idea is that people suggest a theory in the chat. I pick the one that looks interesting, and then I prioritize super chats. But I've got nothing but a slew of super chats, which, to be fair, isn't just because I have the best fans in the world, but it's also because I take so fucking long to answer each super chat that by the time I'm done, there are 10 more. I'm a bit of a rambler, you may have noticed. Never let ADHD people do live streams. They cook too much. Jasper Lane, thank you for the super chat for Jasper Lane. Have you done Tyrion is the son of the Mad King? If not, put that straight into E. Okay, hold on. That is a classic. Tyrion He's a Mad King's son. Wait, give me a sec as I drink some water. Okay. Tyrion is the Mad King's son. So this is the idea that the Mad King, Aerys II, kind of had a thing for Joanna Lannister, Tywin's cousin / wife, and maybe at some event may have forced himself on her, and that Tyrion is actually his bastard, and that's why Tywin truly hates Tyrion, not just because he's a dwarf, and not just because his birth resulted in his beloved wife's death by childbirth, but because he knows deep down that Tyrion is the Mad King's bastard. He hated the Mad King, and there's a walking reminder of the Mad King. Tyrion has very pale blonde hair. Maybe it's pale Targaryen pale. One eye is green, one is black. Maybe it's not black. Maybe it's dark purple. He's obsessed with dragons and he has dreams. Maybe he's meant to be a Targ bastard, half Lannister, half Targ, and he's meant to ride a dragon, be one of the heads of the dragons. I don't know. And there's an even crazier theory than this, by the way, which is the Tyrion Chimera theory, which is the idea that, this one's fire. This is the idea that Tyrion is the son of both Tywin and the Mad King, right? That, like, I don't know, the sperm hit different, and Tyrion is technically shares DNA from all three. I don't know, that one's a fun one, but Tyrion being the Mad King's son, I actively don't like it. Because we don't need another Targaryen bastard. We don't need another secret Targaryen. And I think it takes away from his relationship with Tywin. It makes Tywin less interesting. And Tyrion doesn't need to be a dragon rider. And even if he is a dragon rider, he may not even need to be a dragon lord descendant. Honestly, the everything about the Mad King being into Joanna and the whole black eye and the pale hair and the dragon obsession, like, part of me thinks I think potentially he was meant to be a Targaryen bastard early on, and then George changed his mind, because he definitely played with the idea. He definitely went, this is a maybe and I'll see where I go with it, but I hope he's not. But as you desired, my lord, it shall go in E. Right, there we go. My goodness, we finally run out of super chats. Whew. The stream's been going for a couple of hours. I'm telling you now, I can go for longer. I love live streaming. I just never do it, except when I do it, I'm like, oh my god, that was so much fun. Why don't I just do this all the time instead of being a twat? But hey, what you gonna do? Man, that was lots of fun. I had lots of fun doing that. I haven't had any dinner, and I don't want to go to bed too late. I've been going to bed quite late recently. Been getting up at midday. It's ridiculous. But I'll do another one of these, and I'll actually start a lot earlier, and then I can go for longer, because 2 hours is nothing. I can do 3 hours. You've seen me do the 12-hour streamathon. I've got to do more 12-hour streamathons. Those are fun. Those are super fun. This should be a section. Theory tier list. Okay. I believe we're done. You know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rank one more non-super chat theory, because I didn't get to rank a non-super chat theory. So I'm going to pick one theory I've seen in the chat, and I'm just going to, boom. We'll have a singular non-super chat theory. For fun. There are some good ones. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I bore myself, clearly. What do we have? Night of the Red Chicken theory? Fuck off, Kenny. There's no theory about... Night of the Red Chicken is Red Ronick Connington? No. Maykara is Damon Blackfire's son? Why? That doesn't work age-wise. Robert Strong is just a guy. That is a banger. That is a banger. You know what? Let's wrap it up with that. No, I'm not doing a Paisley theory, you fucking... Robert Strong is just a guy. Kaiben was like, oh, well, Arasokard's lost his head. We need someone to replace him. And well, I found this really tall guy. He's from a house that doesn't exist anymore, and he's the same size and weight as the mountain. And the mountain conveniently died just before I'm revealing this guy. But I'm being serious when I say I did just find a giant guy called Robert Strong. No relation to any other Strongs. No relation to the mountain. That's S tier for sure. Let's go. Robert Strong is just a guy. By the way, I think the skull that was sent to Dawn, 100%, is the mountain skull. I think the mountain has... I hope... Wait, hold on. I hope the mountain... Okay, there are two options. One is that the mountain has another person's head. I hope he has one of the dwarf heads that was given to Cersei, because the idea of a big, hulking... fucking... zombie knight with like a dwarf head is great body horror. If it's no head, then that's fucking dumb, and that's not good body horror. That's just goofy. If the mountain has 0 head, that's just goofy. Let's not go goofy with it. That's my #1 rule for anything. I can suspend my disbelief. Don't go goofy with it. That's my number. Okay, Robert Strong's just a guy, S tier. I really need to make sure the theories aren't below the text box. I do apologize. That won't happen next time. There we go. That was fun. Right. My theory tier list. Yeah. Right, that was fun. So, you're all probably wondering what's next for Fantasy Haven. What future videos am I posting? Because it's been a while. I went through every Jester and Fool. I did a little Trial of 7 April Fool's video. I did a Beesbury video. I did a Fossaway video. And then I dipped. I vanished. And I recently returned with an edited down the casting ranking video. Check that out if you haven't. And with a little Duncan Egg accent video. Check that out too if you haven't. But. Where's the regular content? Where's the animation Haven? What's going on? Let me tell you. I'm working on 7 videos right now. And they will all release during the course of Hot D Season 3. 7 videos on top of reviews, so that's 15 videos overall. So I'm doing the history of House Velaryon, the animated history of House Hightower, the animated history of Harrenhal, the animated history of House Tully. And on top of that, I'm doing 3 book versus character comparison videos. I won't say about which characters, because that's spoilery, because they're about characters I suspect will die this season. If they don't die this season, then I would have made a whole video for fucking nothing. That would be embarrassing. But I do think there are 3 at least that are going to die, and I'll do videos comparing book versus 7. Yes, 7 videos, 7 gods, 7 fucking kingdoms. Let's go. 7 books, hopefully, fingers crossed. But yes, stay tuned. Yes, there's been a content drought. Yes, I'm going to step up live streams for the fans, but 7 animated videos are coming along with live streams and reviews during fucking Hot D. It's going to be glorious. But for now, like and subscribe. If you haven't already, check out the merch if you want fucking, cool t-shirts and mugs and the Euron Kaiju, Kraken Kaiju versus Hightower Mecha and all that stuff. Check out the Patreon if you want access to exclusive videos and early access to some stuff. Bunch of drawings and teasers, and most importantly, just hanging out on the Haven Hall Discord. And yes, someone has super chatted, so I'll read this one out before I leave. Don't worry. Before I dip, now that I've done all the bullshit promo stuff at the end, DRT is king, thanks so much, sent in $10 to say, I don't think Stannis is Azor Ahai, but the new Lightbringer will be made by Stannis, whose cause will be a speed bump for the others. Davos may grab Lightbringer to give to the real Azor Ahai. Oh, so Stannis... So you weren't saying Stannis is the chosen one. You're saying... I just thought I'd be loud as possible as I adjusted myself. You're saying that Stannis will create the Lightbringer sword with his Nissa sacrifice, that being his daughter Shireen, but only only Azor Ahai can wield it, and so then the sword will be given to someone else. The person who isn't the chosen one creating the sword for the chosen one, insofar as that's even going to happen, and George won't subvert that, doesn't really make sense to me. The fake chosen one will make the sword for the chosen one, and then I don't know about that. And I think if there is going to be a Lightbringer, it will be Dawn, personally. Although Dawn on fire? Ooh, actually no, because I like the milky blade. I don't want to ruin the aesthetics. Keep it a milky, shiny blade. Right. I think we're done. Are we done? I'm so bad at ending live streams. Like, subscribe, have fun. Keep an eye on Fantasy Haven. There's great stuff coming. I might set up a TikTok so I can post some clips because someone's stealing my fucking content. I need to copyright strike him. I might set up a Haven Instagram, post some cool character pictures, post some selfies. You can slide into my DMs and be like, "What up, Haven?" I'll be like, "Hey, it's me, the late Lord himself." I'm rambling because I don't end the stream because I'm having too much fun. Okay, I need to have food. What do I have for food? System and stew could be nice. Lemon cakes. Regardless, there'll be grease running down my chin. Okay, bye.